What's up, everybody? Rothstein here, famed Rothstein Sports Investing Show. Link to the podcast is in the bio, all right? Wednesday, the 19th of May, 2021, about 11:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Usually I would have some action for you, some sports investing action, sports betting action. I don't today. Okay, taking a day off, not doing anything. But last night we were 2-1. We had a winning day, our second winning day in a row. That's after a push on Saturday. So that's 3 days in a row we didn't lose. And who did we win? The game we lost, San Diego, we took them on the run line, -1.5. They only won by 1. And then we had the Baltimore game. Baltimore and whoever they played, we had it going over 8.5, and it was like 13-4 was the final. I'm trying to think who. They played Tampa Bay, and we had the St. Louis. They won 5-2 over. We had them on the money line, -136 or something like that, and they won 5-2 against Pittsburgh. All right, but I would have some action for you today, but I'm chilling. I want to talk about Kwame Brown. For those of you all who don't know, Kwame Brown, former number 1 draft pick in the NBA. Some will say, okay. Some will say it was a bust, but he kind of cleared that up this week, and that's what we're going to talk about. All right. And that's what we're going to talk about because he done lit up social media, YouTube and Instagram the last 2-3 days. With his to start it off, as you know, he was number 1 pick of the Washington Wizards. I think the year before LeBron, or something like that, or maybe the year after, somewhere around those years. However, didn't have a stellar career, didn't really live up to the hype of a number 1. But he was number 1 out of high school. All right. And let's see here. Gilbert Arenas, a former teammate, former NBA player, was on the All the Smoke podcast with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes, 2 former NBA players. And they were making Kwame Brown jokes. And this all the same while the old video on SportsCenter, Stephen A. Smith calling Kwame Brown a scrub, had resurfaced. I guess it happened during this week or whatever. Somehow it just came out of nowhere. So Kwame Brown's name's in everybody's mouth, and he just kind of came back on social media and went off the past 3 days. Totally went in on Stephen Jackson and Matt Barnes, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. Like this morning, he even put one out. He kind of went in on Jamil Hill. I think he kind of misfired on that. I'll tell you about that in a second. But when he was talking about when he was talking about Jackson and Barnes, I thought he was spot on about both of them. I stopped watching their podcast when they did the King Griffey Jr. Show. It was cool. Griffey Jr. is who he is. And because of that, they act like they didn't know he was going to speak positively about his dad and not really talk any shit about people, because that ain't him. This guy's 50-something years old and his dad is still his hero. Talks about him like he's a 7-year-old. And like they were so taken aback by that. Like they didn't know what to do when a guy was doing that, speaking positively about it. They wanted to hear about hoes and fights and all that type of stuff. That's the thing about the black baseballer too. It's just not really that. It's not their game. That's not what they do. Baseball is such a skilled sport. Your athleticism doesn't matter, so you got to kind of hone in on what you do, whether it's pitch or swing. But I digress. Listen, I said that about them. Like, what were they expecting? What is up with these dudes? Steve Jackson has converted recently to Islam, so I'm not going to insult him. But I thought the tough guy, I thought his whole swag was, I was the best player in the NBA ever. I was just too real. I never got that. People say he had great talent. I never saw that like that. Just thought he was a decent player, you know. But Matt Barnes, I never liked. I've never liked Matt Barnes. We gave him way too much credit, or y'all did, for driving all that time to fight Derek Fisher, a dude a foot shorter than him, who wasn't doing nothing to his family. It wasn't bothering his family. He was dating his ex-wife. I mean, that was some scummy shit to date your coworker's ex, but it is what it is. It's not illegal. It's a little scummy, but it's not illegal. All right? And, Matt Barnes is a whole foot taller than him and went there and punched him. Caught feelings, had a sucker attack and went and punched him. According to whatever. And Kwame Brown kind of talked about both of them about that and called them out, called them hypocrites and all that. I mean, he was spot on about these dudes. And to kind of lit them up. And the thing is, they've responded and they're pissed. You can tell it bothers them that he hit them back. And they never said he was lying. They just kind of went back at him a little bit and he came back with some more. And then now, Jemele Hill, the sports writer, the black lady sports writer, used to be at ESPN, had the issue with Trump and whatnot. She chimed in on the whole situation and said Kwame chose violence. And Kwame just let a video out this morning where he goes off on her saying, how could you do a black man like that? Black women, you need to stay, mind your business and things like that. I think he's kind of misplaced in his going off on Jemele because, he chose violence. That's like the social media caption of the month. Every now and then there's like a caption that takes over social media for, a couple, 3 weeks. They chose violence. There was a few back in the day. Sorry about that, guys. My arm's getting tired. But okay, here we go. But yeah, there was a few back in the day. But yeah, I think that's how she was doing. Don't get it twisted. I'm not the biggest Jemele Hill fan, but and I understand what he was saying. But it appears he already had smoke for her, and she poked the bear while the bear was awake, and he kind of went in on her a little bit. So I think he kind of misfired on her. But all in all, I'm loving his rant. I'm loving him punching back, and I'm loving his rant just because of the fact that, one, he's spitting some jewels. Younger than me. I forget how old Kwame is. He's younger than me, I know. But, he's spitting some jewels about manhood and just a bunch of things, But he's really, he's cooking Matt Barnes. Saying that, you're the, you're biracial dude. The black kids didn't accept you, so you had to do dickhead stuff. Be a jackass, so to make people think you was tough. Things like that. Like, he's cooking Barnes. And it's all true, because you can see it in Matt Barnes. Like, dude. Like, your only claim to fame was fake throwing the ball at Kobe. Like, other than that, nobody remembers you for nothing in the NBA. And now you're this weed-smoking hemp advocate. Like, I saw a video of Matt Barnes, and I ain't gonna lie, I kinda had a little smoke for him, too. I saw a video of him. He's, rapping with his kids, the twins. These kids are 10 years old or whatever. They were younger at the time. And they're reciting a part that's got clear curse words in it. And I made a, basic race joke to him. You let your kids cuss. That's the white side in you. He responded something foul to me like, what, motherfucker? I was like, man, that was a joke. Calm the fuck down. Lose the tough guy shit with me. It ain't necessary. You know what I'm saying? I just stopped interacting with him. He didn't block me to his credit, but I just stopped interacting with him on Instagram after that. Like, dude, that was not necessary. You know what I'm saying? There is something to what Kwame is saying about him. I don't care what anybody says. He's got Matt Barnes red to the T. All right? But like I said, I don't have it. I'm gonna end it there. I don't have any action today. I haven't even really looked at the board because I wasn't really doing anything. But check me out tomorrow on the podcast. You know where to find it: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor.fm, Stitcher, about 10 different places. Tune in. Fame Rothstein Sports Investing Show. Okay, And after today, this YouTube channel is going to be called, drum roll please, The Betting Public Show. The Betting Public Show. Got some things I'm going to get into with that, but that's what it's going to be called. I'm going to change the name to it. All right, The Betting Public Show, hosted by Frame Rothstein. All right, and also, I'll be back on YouTube or not YouTube, Instagram. You know where to find me on Instagram. Fame_Rothstein, FAME_ROTHSTEIN. At Biggie Rothstein on Twitter, BIGGIE ROTHSTEIN. All right. So there you have it. No action today. We'll be back tomorrow on the podcast bright and early. But until then, everybody, stay safe. Peace.